There are 4 memorials portraying the Au family. From left to right, according to prominent positions in the Haw Par Villa, the 4 memorials are for parents, Mr. and Mrs. Au Chu Kin, followed by Au Bun Haw, Au Bun Pa, and Au Ho. At the memorial for Mr. and Mrs. Au Chu Kin, a tiger and a leopard stand guard. The history of the Legion brothers, Hao and Pa, and the origins of the genus trace back to Rangoon, Burma, where it all began. Their father, Mr. Au Chu Kin, the young son of the herbalist in Xiamen, Fujian province, left for Rangoon in the 1800s to seek his fortune. In Rangoon, he set up his own physician practice, an apothecary shop, and Father Ng Ang Tong, or the Hall of Everlasting Peace, and started a family. In 1908, Mr. Au Chu Kin died. The origins of the tiger balm formula can be traced back to the times of the Chinese emperors, who sought relief for aches and pains from the stresses of court hearings. The balm would have died with the dynasties had it not for Mr. Au Chu Kin, who breathed new life into the ancient recipe. Bun Haw, the gentle tiger, born in 1882, was educated in China, and Bun Pa, the gentle leopard, born in 1888, studied in an English language school in British colonial Burma. In 1908, Chu Kin died, leaving the family practice to Bun Pa. The gentle leopard, finding the responsibility too much to bear, later asked for his older brother's return from China to carry on the family business in Rangoon. I will learn all I can about Western medicine. You can prescribe Chinese medicine. Together, we won't lose a single patient. You can choose between East and West, and a few will stay with us, Bun Pa said to Bun Haw. To perfect their late father's recipe, the sons took over their mother's kitchen. Bun Pa, the quiet leopard, toyed, whereas Bun Haw, the gregarious tiger, organized. Together, they produced Ban Kim Il, 10,000 golden oils, a panacea for all ills. No customer left the Au apothecary without a little bottle of this golden ointment. True to the tiger's predatory instincts, Bun Haw sought out every Chinese shop in town and taught them to stock it himself. Bun Haw's next logical step was a trademark. What else was his own name? And Tiger Balm was born, the embodiment of strength and vitality in the East. By 1920, Au Bun Haw, not yet 40, was the richest Chinese in Rangoon. Ever the risk taker, Bun Haw ventured south to Malaya and Singapore. The sights and sound of bustling commerce in the Malayan towns and Singapore's port made his heart beat fast and his head raise. Studying the Singapore currency, he saw the image of a snarling tiger in the watermark. That clinched it. The tiger tycoon moved into Singapore in 1926, and Ng Ang Tong found a spanking new home in the busiest port in the region. A new and larger factory was built along Nile Road, where production was 10 times more that of Rangoon. Au Bun Haw plied small towns in Malaya in his custom-made car, which has a head fabricated like a tiger and a horn that roared. When kampong folks crowded around, he would distribute centers of Tiger Balm and his sister's products and win still more customers. A new mansion, Haw Par Villa, was built on a hill in Pasir Panjang, surrounded by unique gardens depicting Chinese mythology for the younger, quieter Bun Pa in 1937. Also known as Tiger Balm Gardens, it was open to the public, with factories and distributorships firmly established in Malaya, Hong Kong, Batavia, China and Thailand, and with wealth and status long achieved. Bun Haw next channeled its energy into diversification, which would include publishing and banking. Bun Pa died in Burma in 1944, while Bun Haw died in 1954 at the age of 72 from a heart attack on his way to Hong Kong following a major operation in Boston. Bun Pa's son, Au Cheng Chai, assumed control of the family business. The shortest of 4 memorials was dedicated to Au Ho, the eldest son of Au Bun Haw, who was to take over his business and fortunes. However, Au Ho fell out of favour with his father and thus did not continue the legacy of Tiger Balm. He came to Singapore instead and showed his superb marketing skills inherited from his father, and pioneered the use of airplanes to transfer the English paper, Singapore Standard, and Sinchu, the Chinese version, to reach the masses in most parts of the Malay Peninsula. This way, the people had their newspapers in time for breakfast, while other publications only reached during tea time. Au Ho passed away in Thailand in 1951.